Thawadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Thawadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Thawadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All praise, honor, glory due unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakadash, Brakatham. Peace and blessings, hopefully elect. Peace and blessings, hopefully elect. 144, the rest of 1/3. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's coming for you, devil.
Shalom. Kolo Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Quadash, double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, the would-be judges of 144,000, the tabernacle of David, who are ordained by who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC. His name is Yahushai. Always was, always will be. All right? And the 144,000 is going to be the new ruling class government, new ruling class people over all other nations, races, governments, mountains and hills. All right? Mountains represent large governments. Hills represent small governments. And the Israelites, being of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans primarily, and the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black-only thing. And to the few Akwaf, meaning the sisters that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in brutal, uncomfortable truth. It's only uncomfortable to those who believe not in the Bible, and mainly to the Edomites who believed in all the whitewash history and lies, which is all we live in modern times, where via the internet you can access books and relics that exist in museums and other places around the world, in Europe, that solidifies the fact that not only was the Lord Yahushai, who the world fraudulently calls Jesus, was he a so-called black man, but they ruled all of Europe. All right? And so the people that are claiming to be the royalty are not the royalty. The coats of arms look like the guy in the middle there. Okay? And there's so many scriptures that, that describe the Lord. And then they love to bring up, well, he was olive colors, where, olives are like, brown or black, and they're green. Okay? So we know that the Lord wasn't green. All right? As a matter of fact, I got a receipt here I'd like to show you of olives. You can put that in front of the camera. So they say he was olive complected. Well, we know he wasn't the green one. All right? And he wasn't like the one in the middle either, because it said his skin was as if he had burned in the furnace. So he was very dark chocolate, all right? According to the Bible. As a matter of fact, let's get a receipt before we go further. One of my favorites on the subject matter, which is Revelation 4:3. And it's funny, Edomites are using these as talking points now. Okay? I'm going to read verse 1, though. And the point is in 3. Revelation 4:1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were a trumpet talking to me, which said, Come hither, and I will show you these things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, the thrones of heaven, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and the one that sat on the throne, all right, and he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne in the sight like unto an emerald. So a jasper and a sardine stone looks like the man in the middle. All right, or a mixture thereof. As a matter of fact, let's provide a receipt. And see, these sort of truths are why we're heading toward a dystopian control time. Okay, where draconian law is about to be implemented because the truth is just too unbearable for Esau, even the so-called self-proclaimed white man. Okay, but here's a jasper and a sardine stone. Okay, so there you go. A jasper and a sardine stone. So, and then, you know, and that's pretty much the complexions of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans collectively. All right, they're, you know, from the lighter brown to the dark chocolate brown. And there they are. Okay. And I also want to bring a point to Marbury versus Madison. This is very important. Marbury versus Madison. This is case law. And what this case law does is it proves that, you know, that the law of the land is the Constitution. And any executive order or code or statute that does not agree with it is actually illegal. And what's happening is that Trump and his administration are putting into place laws that override the Constitution and laws that make defenders of the Constitution criminal, including police officers, military, upstanding citizen, ex-military, and any American citizen that tries to uphold the law of the land, the Constitution, will be deemed a criminal. All right, and for the record, they've been violating the Constitution in many cases via the tax system. They violate the laws of the land. And my favorite to talk about is Title 4D child support. All right, it completely disregards the law of the land in multiple ways, in so many ways. All right, one of the ways is they deny people due process. You don't get due process. They just, you know, once you get caught up in it, they'll just the way that they do is they look at your earnings and they just take a percentage of it. When in actuality, the due process of it is they're supposed to bring you in, determine what, how many obligations, financial obligations that you already have that will keep you in a position where you can still function, all right? And then they're supposed to determine, if you already married, if you have children already, if you got bills or whatever, they're supposed to take into account all the things that you're responsible for, and then adjust the payments to that, and they don't do that. So let's say that a guy or girl makes $70,000 a year. They're just going to automatically take 30%, not considering that you have a car, a house, children already, a wife, you know, bills or whatever. Then they put you in a position where you know, where you can't pay and you fall behind, and they destroy people. And they completely deny you due process. There's no remedy for it. And every issue is supposed to have a remedy according to the law. Okay? So the case law of Marbury versus Madison is very important. And we now have a government that's going to override that, and for many reasons. And one of the facts is that they're afraid of a chocolate messiah, which they know that to be true. Okay, I mean, you could just go on YouTube alone. I mean, you can go on a lot of other platforms, but you can go YouTube and just put in Moors of Europe, and they're going to talk about Africans and more. No, the Moors also were ruling here in the Americas and helped set up the colonies. Yeah. And they were ruling all throughout Europe until they fell. And Esau, Edom replaced them and took them over and put their faces on the coats of arms, etc., etc., etc. And now we live in a time where all that history is just being revealed, and everything that I just said, any honest person can just look it up and see that it's absolutely true. If you have something to say this otherwise, you're just a hateful racist and just don't like the truth. Because what does that make? That makes all your pseudoscience, stuff like this, phrenology, because this is what they've governed by. Phrenology is pseudoscience that claims to predict mental traits by measuring the bumps of a skull, founded by German physician Franz Joseph Gall. Just a lie, Like Timothy told us, 1 Timothy 6:20 told us to stay away from false science, falsely so-called, mumble jumble and babbling, and so we were warned in the Bible that they would try to use pseudoscience to get around and above the Lord and around and above the Lord's people. And now we're getting to the point where they're just going to use their strength. All right, so with all this hate that's going on, as a matter of fact, let me get a scripture. This is 2 Ezra 6:27. And it reads, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared." So the truth is now being declared. And Edomites, who refer to themselves as whites and Caucasians, are finding out that they're not what they, their lie IQs have failed them. That whole high IQ thing was definitely pseudoscience. Complete and total pseudoscience and just a lie. Most of the major inventions that came about here in the West were built by people that look like the man in the middle. And that's just an undeniable fact. So many things. Elevators, escalators, refrigeration, the light bulb, the filament for the light bulb. Because they'll say Edison, and no, it was Lewis Latimer. All right, there's even court case law to prove that. The elevator train, the elevator, the elevator doors, stove, wash machine, all right? So the engine in the car, GPS, drone technology, okay? Jacob's assault to the earth, and even in our lowest state, being on the bottom, we still outshine Esau, Edom, and all. It's like the one guy, I saw him say it, how Jake would invent things, and then Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, invented the patent office. Yeah, all the music that you listen to, country music, and cowboys. Those were Negroes and Latinos. They were the original cowboys. As a matter of fact, the so-called white man wanted to be called cow hands. They didn't like being called cowboy. Jake made it cool. Okay? And now what was happening is that we're reaching, nearing the end of Esau's world. Matter of fact, right here in Ezra's, it was 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, when shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. And so Esau knows that he have but a short time, so he's getting ready to come down with great wrath, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. And that's what they're about to do with these, with these armies they put together here in America. So as this third woe happens, which is, the world war, there's also going to be war here in America and utter chaos. Okay, so I'm going to play this video that I got from my beloved April O'Neil. Let me go find this real quick. And I'm just going to let it play. It's about 4 minutes long. So I'm just going to hold my peace, and then I'll finish with a couple more scriptures. Because it's about to get wild in America. And I believe that all this is about to happen because Trump has to act fast, because they're going to remove him out of office. There's no way he can win the midterms, and he definitely can't win after that. So he has to try to. So I believe that this summer the deck is going to go up.
He's done. He's done. Thus shall the Lord tell you. Come on. Exodus 15:3. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is his holy name. You know what I'm saying? Understand that. Be edified. Okay, until the next one.